Hey guys, Dantix here. Today, busting some myths in Borderlands 4. We're going to see today if class mods do in fact drop less for the class that you've picked. We're going to check if the Lost Loot Machine is in fact prioritizing legendaries or if it's working at all. And we're also going to test if in Vault Hunter rank 5, Ultimate Vault Hunter rank 5, if melee is viable. So let's get right into it. Alright, the first myth is that legendary class mods drop less for the class that you're currently playing. So right now I'm on Rafa and I'm on Ultimate Vault Hunter rank 5. What we're going to do is we're going to fight Callus here 100 times on this particular character and gather the data. Then once I have the data, we'll see what class mods are dropping. This particular boss drops a class mod for every class, so that's a good starting point. And then we will go over to Harlow and play on Ultimate Vault Hunter rank 1 just to compare and see how much Harlow class mods drop. So let's get right into it. We've finally done 100 kills on Ultimate Vault Hunter rank 5 Rafa. Got us 10 Vex legendary class mods, 12 for Harlow, 2 for Rafa, and 11 for Eamon. That's pretty damning. It's a lot harder to get, especially on Ultimate Vault Hunter rank 5, Rafa class mods when you're playing Rafa. Now, for Harlow, 100 kills on Ultimate Vault Hunter rank 1. Surprisingly, a very similar drop rate. Vex was 8, Harlow was only 1, Rafa was 15, and Eamon was 10. So I think this myth is true. If you're playing a particular class, if you're playing a particular character, legendary class mods for that character are going to drop less. I've seen it all throughout my playthroughs, and now we've conclusively shown it on video. Yeah, it's taken a bit of time, but I think this is confirmed. This myth is confirmed. I think Gearbox does this just to encourage you to play other characters. So I guess if you want a particular class mod, just jump on another character and hopefully it'll roll more often. Now this is the Lost Loot Machine. What it should be doing, if it's working, is gathering the lost loot that you've left on the ground and storing it here so you can collect it and it's not gone forever. Now, the next myth is that the Lost Loot Machine does not prioritize legendary items, which it should be doing because it was doing that in Borderlands 3. So what we need to do is take all of these items and then go and farm some legendaries and leave them on the ground and see what happens. Now, what I've noticed is this machine does not work very well. You'll notice there that there were a few purples and a few blues. Now, I was farming Callus before quite a lot, and I'd left a lot of purples on the ground. This should have all been purples, so I don't think this is working. And I think once we try to bust this open, we'll find that this is fairly broken. So let's head over to maybe the splash zone and see how we go. Now, I think this first test is going to be fairly simple. We just see if the Lost Loot Machine is actually working. So what we'll do is we'll kill this boss, we'll leave all of the loot on the ground, and then we'll exit out of the game and see if any of the loot that has dropped off of him is actually stored in that machine. And if not, why not? Alright, so there's one legendary, so we'll actually be able to do it properly here. So there's a Rapid Jelly Grenade Ordnance, there's Durandal, and there's Cool Controller. So let's see if any of those are actually there when we exit out. So quick game, main menu. So here we are in the splash zone. What we need to do is head on over to anything with lost loot. I like going to the launch pad just because I'm used to it. All right. And the lost loot is empty. There is nothing here. Surprise, surprise. It's not working properly. Let's head back to the splash zone and see if those items are actually just still there. All right, we're flying over now. Here we are. It does not look like those items are still here. Yep, they are gone. We have lost our legendary item. It's gone forever now. So I think it's pretty confirmed. Do not trust the lost loot machine to prioritize legendaries. In fact, don't trust it to save your legendaries at all. But to really hammer this home, I'm going to play through the splash zone multiple times, leaving all the loot on the ground, not picking up a thing, and seeing what it takes for it to actually store some loot. Alright, so we've fought him quite a few times now, I think around a dozen times, maybe a bit more, and these are all the drops that we've got. More than enough to fully fill the lost loot with purples and even the legendary that's here. But now to confirm that it's not just because we're exiting out of the game, let's just travel on foot to the lost loot machine. Alright, here we are at the lost loot, and it is full. But look what it's full of. Shit. So what I think has happened is it's filled up with this stuff as I was fighting the boss in the splash zone. It got rid of some of the junk. It just teleported it over here. So let's see what happens if I do actually exit out now and exit back in. Will it fill back up with the legendary item that we should have got? All right, we're back here after exiting out of the game. And would you look at that? It's actually worked this time. So that was the legendary that dropped, and it's filled up the rest with the purples. So what has happened? Does it need time to process items into this machine? Because the legendary jelly that dropped before, that's gone for good. That's gone. That's just not showing here. It's not like a time limit that needs to appear here. It's simply that it's vanished. So if you don't stay in the game when a legendary item drops, it might actually just be gone and won't appear here if you don't pick it up. So just make sure to pick up all your legendaries. But I don't think the myth is busted. I think the lost loot machine is busted. It's just not working as intended, because I had to walk all the way from the splash zone to here for it not to appear in the lost loot machine, only to exit out and come back for it to actually register. So that is it that particular sequence of events that needs to show up? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But as of right now, I think be very careful with this machine. It's not working as intended. Alright, the next myth is that melee is simply just not viable in Ultimate Vault Hunter rank 5. So what we're going to do is test it out on Rafa here with a melee build. I've just done a pitch-podge of different skills, mostly focusing around Galvanic Panic, because I feel like it does the most amount of damage out of kind of all the variations, but I can't be sure. So he'll leap forward with a right click for acid drop. And whenever he performs a melee attack with arc knives, he can fire STRM gliders, doing more corrosive splash damage. So that's what we're basing it around. He's got a lot of melee damage. He's got a bit of survivability. Let's just see how this goes. Then we have a in-your-face Esgrimador. It's giving him skill damage, which is applying to his arc knives, and 50% melee damage. So this is as melee focused as we can get. Also, his melee attacks gain a plus 10% critical hit chance, and critical hits with melee attacks restore 5% of the skill duration. So we've tried to get as many kind of crits in there as we can as well. So let's see how this goes. But keep in mind that with Eamon, he doesn't really have a skill that gets him into melee in this particular way. He has his skills that do melee damage, but they have a lot of ranged variance to it, and it doesn't just have him dealing melee the whole time. He'll switch back to his gun. But if we confirm that melee is viable with this Rafa build, I think we kind of confirm it on Eamon as well. So here we are at the easiest boss fight, at the splash zone. So let's see if we can actually take on the boss here. Caustic Leap. We'll leap back in. And let's do a finisher. Oh, didn't even kill him. Okay. That's not heartening. Yeah, that was a lot tougher than I thought it would be. So maybe we try against an actual boss and see how we go. I mean, what's your definition of viable, right? Is it that it can actually kill things, or is it that they can kill them efficiently? Because it's definitely not easy. Alright, the boss I've chosen is the Primordial Guardian Inceptus. Just from playing this a few times, I noticed that it most likely will be difficult for melee characters because you need to get in close to do damage to him, and he does a lot of damage to you up close, and also he retreats into a cocoon. So you're going to be almost forced to use your weapons, your guns. So let's see how this goes then, hey? Also, we are doing caustic damage, or we're doing corrosive damage against the shield, which isn't the best. Oh my lord. Yeah, what am I supposed to do now? Do I just wait? Do I cancel my action skill? I guess I do. Okay, and then we go back to our guns. So I'm just gonna say from the onset here, going a heavy focus on melee is it's not really gonna help you against bosses, against most of them anyway. They all tend to have some way of making your life difficult if you're required to get in close. Especially since more than almost all the other Borderlands that I've played, you seem to die a lot faster in Borderlands 4. So at least on Vault Hunter rank 5, I don't think melee is a viable option. It just makes things more difficult. Can you do it? Can you succeed if you focus in melee? Yes, you can, especially on Eamon, who you can just pump up melee damage and then use his action skills, which are ranged melee in most cases, and be fine. It's just you're not going to be top tier and you're not going to be competitive, but it is a PvE game at the end of the day, so play whatever you have fun with. It will just be slightly more difficult than, say, playing one of the meta builds or the flavor of the month builds. Is the myth busted? Is melee simply not viable in Ultimate Vault Hunter rank 5? It just depends on what viable is. So I'm gonna say kind of. It's kind of not viable, but you can make it work and you can survive and you can kill things. It's just gonna take a lot longer and it's just not gonna be as fun. And yeah, that's it.